Most traders treat consistency like a technique, something you practice, something you unlock, something that appears once you get disciplined enough. That belief alone is why they never achieve it. Consistency is not a skill. Skills fluctuate. Consistency is identity in motion. It's what leaks out of you when you stop trying. This is why two traders can have the exact same strategy, rules, risk model, and schedule, and one executes cleanly for months while the other self-destructs every few weeks. Not because one is smarter, not because one works harder, because they see themselves differently. Most traders still identify as someone who is trying to become consistent. That sounds harmless. It's not. Trying implies negotiation. Trying implies effort. Trying implies flexibility. And flexibility is deadly under pressure. If your self-image includes "I'm improving" or "I'm getting better," then regression is always allowed. Because improvement assumes fluctuation. Professionals don't think that way. A surgeon doesn't say, "I'm trying to be precise today." A pilot doesn't say, "I'll follow procedure unless it feels restrictive." They don't perform discipline. They are constrained by role. Most traders never adopt a role. They adopt a hope. Hope collapses under pressure. Identity does not. People love discipline when there's nothing at stake. Flat day? Rules are easy. Green day? Rules feel natural. That's why most traders believe they're disciplined. They associate discipline with comfort. They say things like, "When I'm calm, I trade well," which sounds reasonable and is completely useless because calm is not the environment that matters. Pressure is. Pressure is the only condition where discipline counts, and pressure does not negotiate. It doesn't care how long you've been journaling. It doesn't care how much content you consume. It doesn't care how confident you felt an hour ago. Pressure shows up unannounced and asks one question: who are you when this costs something? When you're down on the day, behind on the week, late in the session with time compressing and opportunity, it feels like it's slipping away. That's where identity shows up. Not the version of you that posts progress, not the version of you that explains things logically after the fact. The default version. And this is where traders get it wrong. They say, "I lost discipline today." No, you didn't lose discipline. You stopped pretending. What you call losing discipline is identity snapping back to baseline once the environment stops being friendly. You revealed what actually runs the system. Under stress, the brain stops asking objective questions. It no longer asks, "What do the rules say?" It starts asking, "What do I need right now?" That shift is fatal because what I need is emotional. What the rules say is mechanical. And emotions don't care about long-term expectancy. They care about immediate relief. Relief from discomfort, relief from uncertainty, relief from the feeling of falling behind. That's why pressure creates overtrading, revenge trading, impulsive exits, late entries that make no structural sense. Not because traders are weak, because their identity still allows exceptions. Most traders believe their problem is execution. It isn't. Execution is where the problem shows up. Identity is where it starts. If your identity includes being intuitive, then under pressure, intuition becomes justification. If your identity includes being adaptive, then under pressure, adaptation becomes rule bending. If your identity includes "I trade best when aggressive," then under pressure, aggression becomes entitlement. These traits feel like strengths when things are calm. Under pressure, they turn into permission slips. You don't consciously say, "I'm breaking rules." You say, "This is different. The market's shifting. I need to be flexible here." Language protects identity. You don't say, "I'm emotional." You say, "I see something forming." You don't say, "I need control." You say, "I'm staying proactive." You don't say, "I'm afraid to end red." You say, "I don't want to waste the session." Pressure doesn't invent these thoughts. It activates them. It strips away the patience you borrowed from comfort and exposes the permissions you never removed. This is why motivation never lasts. Motivation does not rewrite identity. It suppresses it temporarily. Motivation says, today I'll be better. Identity says, when it matters, we do this. Identity always wins. That's why traders relapse after good weeks. That's why discipline disappears after drawdowns. That's why the worst decisions are made late in sessions, not early. Because identity waits until you're tired, exposed, and emotionally invested. Then it takes control. The market isn't cruel for doing this. It's accurate. Pressure doesn't sabotage you. It tells the truth. And until your identity removes emotional exceptions entirely, consistency will always be conditional, not broken. Conditional. And conditional discipline collapses every time it's tested. Most traders think rules exist to keep them disciplined. Wrong. Rules exist to remove identity choice. If you still feel like you're being disciplined, you've already lost. Professionals don't feel disciplined. They feel normal. Rules work only when they are non-negotiable enough to eliminate debate. Maximum trades per session, hard stop times, fixed risk per trade, no re-entries. These aren't discipline tools. They are identity constraints. They decide who you are before emotion has a vote. Identity is built through repeated behavior without discussion, not belief, not affirmation, not confidence, behavior. Every time you stop trading at your limit, regardless of outcome, you are no longer someone who overtrades. Every time you end a session flat without forcing action, you stop being someone who needs stimulation. Every time you follow a rule while uncomfortable, your identity hardens. Eventually, consistency stops feeling heroic. It feels boring. And that boredom is the signal that the identity has locked in. Most traders quit right before this point because boredom feels like stagnation and ego needs drama. Here's the line traders don't want to cross. A consistent trader is not someone who wins more often. It's someone who behaves the same when nothing is happening. Same pace, same restraint, same neutrality, no audience, no validation, no emotional payoff, just repetition. This is where most people fail, because repetition kills fantasy. No heroic comebacks, no dramatic revenge days, no emotional identity to perform, just execution. And execution doesn't make you feel special. It makes you effective. You either accept the identity of an operator or you stay a participant forever. Participants react. Operators execute. Participants trade emotions. Operators trade conditions. Participants need excitement. Operators need precision. The market doesn't reward passion. It doesn't reward effort. It doesn't reward desire. It rewards who you are when nothing is forcing you. If you keep breaking rules, stop asking how to fix discipline. Ask who you're still protecting, because consistency is not something you achieve. It's something you become, and most people never do